Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Right, 2020 has been a woefully shoddy year for most people on planet Earth, right? Well, no, actually, because some footballers have had a whale of a time in comparison to 2019 anyway. Let's take a look at the most improved footballer of every age, the player who's just had a great year in comparison to 2019. Right, let's go. 18, Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati is another freak. No, I'm not accusing him of eating chunks of wet dog hair for breakfast, but in terms of footballing ability, absolute freak. Yes, I realise his surname makes him sound like he's some 40-year-old dad too self-conscious to take his shirt off at the beach. But lads, at 18, Fati is an incredible talent and the heir to Messi at Barcelona. Yes, 2019 was the year he broke into the first team squad, but 2020 is the year he turned into a world star. He started 90 games for Barcelona in 2020, battered in 2 against Levante in February. There were further goals against Leganes, Villarreal, Alaves, Ferencváros, another 2 against Villarreal, Celta Vigo and Real Madrid, becoming the youngest ever player to net in an El Clasico, just a week before his 18th birthday. A week before my 18th birthday, I was barely able to tie my shoelaces, and I assumed babies were born out of the arse. Fati is going to be another world star. 19, Curtis Jones. Yes, I realise Mason Greenwood might seem like the obvious answer here, but lads, he scored 9 first-team goals for Man United in 2019 and 11 in 2020. It's not a ridiculous improvement now, is it? Curtis Jones, though, back in 2019, he had about as much impact on Liverpool's first team as he used Kleenex. The talented Scouse midfielder started 2 pitiful games for the first team in 2019, and one of them was against MK Dons. Jurgen Klopp might as well have fielded a bowl of lasagna in the field that night, but in 2020 he's absolutely blown the roof off his career. Beginning with an FA Cup third-round winner against Everton just 5 days into the new year, winds up starting 13 more games in 2020, including 4 in the Champions League. Lads, it took Steven Gerrard until he was 21 to make his Champions League debut. Jones is absolutely smashing it. 20, Phil Foden. Erling Haaland is a worthy contender here, but again, he was eating goals for breakfast in 2019 as well. I'm tempted to pick Moise Kean, who's redeemed himself this calendar year after spending 2019 waddling about like a constipated duck, but no, the answer is Phil Foden. Yes, I realise he got sent home from international duty after smuggling a human woman into a hotel room, but on the pitch, 2020 has absolutely been his year. Before the calendar year, he'd only ever started 4 Premier League games in his life. Sure, he was billed as a successor to David Silva, but Guardiola used him about as much as Shane McGowan uses a toothbrush. People are actually claiming he should follow in Jadon Sancho's footsteps and quit the club of no opportunities. But no, in 2020, he's actually started 23 games for Man City, including in that famous 2-1 home win over Real Madrid in the Champions League, and that EFL Cup final win over Aston Villa. Oh yeah, and he's chipped in with 10 goals. 2020 couldn't have gone much better for the kid. 21, João Felix. Listen, I am tempted to pick Martin Odegaard, you know, the former Norwegian wonderkid who signed for Real Madrid half a decade ago, and it's only taken him until now to realise his dream of playing for them. Christ, most of you probably wrote him off as just another failed child star who'd wind up sleeping under a bridge alongside Macaulay Culkin and the fat one off Drake and Josh, but no, the answer is João Felix, who did struggle when he initially went to Atletico Madrid for over 100 million quid, and a lot of people were quick to write him off as just another big money flop. But no lads, he's turned his La Liga career around. He's now one of the first names on Diego Simeone's team sheet, and he's finally registering some end product. This guy only had 2 goals and 1 assist before Christmas last year. Now he's got 12 goals and 7 assists for a team looking to win La Liga. Lads, he's turned it around. 22, Gabriel Magalhaes. Yes, I realise the current Arsenal squad is filled with footballers who single-handedly raise the blood pressure of their fans. Christ, look, some Gunners fans would probably rather watch a cow giving birth than put up with watching Hector Bellerin line up to take another throw-in. But Gabriel, the £22 million summer signing from Lille, has been arguably their best defender in about a decade. In comparison, 2019 was a nothing year for the Brazilian centre-back. Okay, maybe not nothing, he did break into the Lille team and he did help steer them to second in the league, but he also ended the year getting utterly ruined 5-1 at Monaco and helping his team pick up just 1 point from 6 Champions League group games. Part of the back forwards conceded 14 goals. Good Christ, Tammy Abraham used this man's potential to clean his teeth, but he did turn it around in 2020. He helped Lille win 6 of the 8 league games after Christmas, and yet results haven't been good in North London, but he still cemented himself as one of the best centre halves in the league. 23, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm sorry, but I don't think we're ever going to find a more improved player in 2020 than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Sure, he ended the calendar year of 2019 on a good note, taking tips off Duncan Ferguson on how to actually look dangerous in the penalty box, because before then he was about as threatening as a wet post box. He'd scored 11 league goals in 35 league games that year. The guy was so far down the pecking order, I doubt Gareth Southgate even knew his name. This year though, good Christ, this man has clearly been eating his morning porridge. He's like a goal scorer possessed. 19 goals for Everton in 2020, including 2 hat-tricks. He's netted in the Merseyside Derby, scored twice for his country, and is probably England's first choice pick-up front after Harry Kane. 24, Che Adams. I think it's time to start giving Che Adams some credit. In 2019, this guy looked like one of the most laughable top-flight strikers I've ever seen. Sure, he began 2019 like the prime version of Ronaldo, exploding with 10 goals in Birmingham's first 8 league games of the calendar year. Pretty sure that's what earned him that £20 million move to Southampton in the summer. But let's not forget, the goals did dry up after Valentine's Day, finishing off the season with just 1 strike in his last 13 games of the Championship, and continuing that wretched run of form with 0 in his first 17 games for Southampton before the new year. So I make that 1 goal in his last 30 games of 2019 2019. The guy had the physique of a modern bodybuilder, but the goal-scoring threat of a fat David Nugent. 2020 has been an improvement though. Sure, it did still take him until July to register his first goal, but still, that was the winner against Man City, spanked it from the halfway line. I'd expect that sort of goal from Charlie Adam, not Che. Clearly buoyed by that, he grabbed 3 more before the season was out, banks in 4 this season and registers 3 assists. No, it's not a massive turnaround, but he at least looks like a competent Premier League goal scorer with 2 working feet at least. 25, Andre Silva. Yeah, Andre Silva's had a good 2020 and just in time for Euro 2021 with Portugal. At Eintracht Frankfurt he scored 21 goals, weighed in with 6 assists. Yeah, he's done pretty well. Fair play Andre Silva. 26, Miguel Almiron. Okay, no, Miguel Almiron's form hasn't been earth-shattering in 2020, despite his agent thinking his client is good enough for Atletico Madrid. But as compared to the 12 months of utter pig saliva that he served up in Tyneside in 2019, it's definitely a big improvement. It took Newcastle 14 years to break their club transfer record, so when he did pop up in Tyneside in January 2019, the Paraguayan winger was supposed to be their saviour. So the fact it took him until December to score a damn goal, when this guy was linked with Real Madrid, that's not embarrassing, that's a stat worthy of handing in your football boots and applying for a job down the bank. It took him 27 games to find the net for Newcastle. Appalling. But at least he kicked on after that, scored 4 times in the league this year, including 1 after 19 seconds against West Brom. He also chipped in with 4 goals in the FA Cup and another against Morecambe in the EFL Cup this season. No, 9 goals in a calendar year is not worthy of 20 million quid, but still, it's a 9 times improvement at least. 27, Alisson Play. Yeah, here's good old French forward Alisson Play, who was apparently Newcastle's preferred choice before they got Almiron. Anyway, nowadays they wouldn't even have a pig's whisker of even borrowing a bag of his toenails for the evening, because the Frenchman has moved on to another level in 2020. 2019 was a tough year at Borussia Mönchengladbach. He'd registered 8 goals and 7 assists in 38 games. It's decent, but it's not amazing. This year though, he scored 12 goals and got 10 assists. Not only that, but he's playing at a much higher level. No more Thursday night Europa League football, no. This season, he's actually bagging hat-tricks away to Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League and creating 2 goals against Real Madrid. Play is having a great year. 28, Son Heung-Min. Alright, I'm going for Son Heung-Min. A top player in 2019, yes, but he scored 10 league goals that year. Under Jose Mourinho, he has 19 Premier League strikes this calendar year, including 1 game where he swallowed 4 goals on an away day at Southampton. And I'm pretty sure he's going to hit 20 goals before the year is out. 2 in 2 home wins over Man City and 2 in both North London derby wins. He's a man for the big occasion. Yes, he was great under Poch, but now he's on a different level. And he's arguably one of the deadliest forwards in Europe. And they say Jose Mourinho doesn't know how to work with attacking players. Utter wet porridge. 29, Andrej Kramaric. Everyone remember Leicester flop Andrej Kramaric? Listen, it's not as if 2019 was a bad year for him. He banged in 16 Bundesliga goals for Hoffenheim that year, in between juggling a broken knee. But 2020, he's not just been a half-decent Bundesliga star this time. No, he's been one of the most productive players in Europe. It's not just the fact he's 18 goals in just 22 games this calendar year, but he has 6 assists as well. So he's directly contributed to 24 goals in 22 matches. He slammed in a hat-trick away to Cologne, banged in 2 in a famous 4-1 home win over Bayern Munich. Oh yeah, and he scored all the goals in a 4-0 win at Borussia Dortmund in June. Yes, all 4 goals. Christ, he was like some sort of superhuman monster that day. 30, Michail Antonio. Well lads, look at what crashing your Lamborghini into someone's garden on Christmas Day dressed as a snowman can do for someone's career. You'd assume that would be enough to get you bombed out of West Ham in the January transfer window. Instead, it seems to give Michail Antonio superhuman strength, a bit like an episode of Misfits. In 2019, he was just a soggy lump of tubby custard, left out of 11 matchday squads by Manuel Pellegrini, and he had 5 league goals all calendar year. In 2020, he's got 12, including 4 in 1 match against Norwich. But yeah, lately he's been back out of the squad again. 31, Thomas Muller. Thomas Muller is back on form. 2019 was a quiet year for the world champion. A total of 10 goals in 44 matches in 2019. That was Muller's reality. He even thought about quitting the club under Niko Kovac. And for an avid Bavarian like Muller, that's quite an impressive achievement from the Croatian boss. A bit like when Brendan Rodgers managed to bench Stevie G enough to make him quit Anfield and retire somewhere else. But 2020 under Hans-Dieter Flick, Muller has exploded. 18 goals, 22 assists. Oh yeah, and he lifted every possible trophy available to him. Yeah, if you focus purely on club level, then 2020 was probably the best year of Muller's life. Shame about the rest of us then. 32, Alexis Sanchez. Alright, the Alexis Sanchez of Barcelona and Arsenal is gone. That footballer does not exist anymore. In his place is a washed up shell. But compare Sanchez in 2020 to Sanchez in 2019 and you will notice a big difference. The 2019 Manchester United flop was awful, down on confidence, just terrible. 1 goal in a combined 13 league games for both Man United and Inter Milan. What a waste of a year. Right, okay, well in 2020 he was still a pretty stale bench warmer until the first lockdown. Then he returns to bang in 3 goals after that and grab 7 assists in the league. And now this season he chips in with 3 assists and 2 goals, and he started the last 5 games with 4 of them being wins. Yes, he's not the Sanchez of old, but 5 5 goals and 10 assists in a calendar year is definitely an improvement on 1 goal and 1 assist in 2019. 33, Francesco Caputo. I realise the inclusion of Francesco Caputo of Sassuolo makes me sound like a born-again football hipster, but lads, he's had a good 2020. This 33-year-old Italian striker, he did well in 2019, 15 goals and 36 games for Sassuolo, that's a damn good return. But in 2020, 18 goals and 6 assists in 27 games, it's a big improvement. He scored 2 in a 4-2 home win over Roma, bagged a goal and an assist in a 3-3 draw with Juventus. Oh yeah, and he also scored in his international debut for Italy in a 6-0 thumping of Moldova. 34, Olivier Giroud. Lads, put some respect on Olivier Giroud's name. I hope this is the year people might wake up and stop comparing him to a 3-legged donkey. This guy's been involved in some of the most technically superb goals the Premier League has ever seen. He's a world champion, and yes, he does know where the back of the net is. Christ up, he began the year being offered a job at Newcastle under Steve Bruce after just 1 Premier League goal in 2019. Just 1. Well now, he's finally been given a chance by Frank Lampard, a man who clearly didn't rate him at the start, and he's repaid him with 9 Premier League goals in just 12 Premier League starts, chucking a goal-scoring FA Cup semi-final performance against Man United, the goal out in Rennes in the Champions League, oh, and the 4-goal show away to Sevilla, the Europa League champions, let's not forget. Then I make that 17 goals for Chelsea this calendar year. Not bad at all. 35, Ashley Young. Yeah, Ashley Young is reborn in Italy. Towards the end of his time at Man United, he was an utterly forgettable fullback, a guy being laughed off the pitch against Barcelona halfway through 2019. But now, he started 26 games under Antonio Conte at Inter Milan, including a Europa League final and 5 Champions League games. The man is back. 36, Christian Bolanos. Of every footballer over the age of 34, Christian Bolanos is the 5th highest goal scorer in the world of 2020. And he's a 36-year-old Costa Rican right winger for IK Start of the Backers of Norway. But lads, last season in the Costa Rican League for Deportivo Saprissa, he netted 18 goals in 23 games, and he already has a couple for Start in Norway this season. It's pretty good. 37, Scott McDonald. Yeah, remember Scott McDonald, that 37-year-old former Celtic pinch hitter? Yes, he used to be scoring late winners against AC Milan in the Champions League. So now, stuck out in Australia with Brisbane Roar, it might be a bit of an anticlimax. But still, after going stale at Western United in 2019, he scored just 1 goal in 9 games for them. Then he signed for Brisbane Roar to play under Robbie Fowler in January, and finished off last season with 6 goals in his last 7 games, finishing 1 point above his former club in 4th. 38, Pepe Reina. Lads, let's be honest, Pepe Reina played 4 league games since May 2018, when he wound up at Villa Park in January of this year, so he squeezed in 12 more Premier League games on his CV. Yes, only 2 were clean sheets, but so what? He helped keep a big club like Aston Villa in the Premier League. Job done. Clearly he got his career back on track, because he's gone from being AC Milan benchwarming stain to being the current #1 goalie for another massive club like Lazio. Oh yeah, and he's played 5 more Champions League games, losing none of them and qualifying for the round of 16. Lads, it's the first time he'll play a Champions League knockout game since March 2017. Not a bad turnaround. 39, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is another footballing freak. He's 39 years old and the current top scorer in Serie A. I'm sorry, you'd swear this was 2010? How is he still going so strong? To think, a year ago, he was forced to put up with such MLS disrespect as reporters actually asking him if Carlos Vela was a better player. Good Christ. Listen, 2019 was a good year for him. He scored a bucket load of goals for LA Galaxy, but I'm sorry, if it's against the pudding defenses of the MLS, it doesn't really mean anything. The guy was written off in Europe, apparently finished ever since destroying his knee at Old Trafford, right? Yeah, no, he's returned to Milan and scored 22 goals in 30 games for an AC Milan team top of Serie A. Lads, never mind the Messi-Ronaldo rivalry, the Zlatan-Ronaldo rivalry has been massively underrated. Right, that's the end of it, lads. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.